So I believe, you would be learning one or two new things from this session. And yeah, hopefully the strategies, the techniques which are shared in the session would help you in your sales and marketing activities. So just a brief about me and why I am doing this session. So my name is Murtaza. So I've been a part of sales and profit since last 5.5 years, 5.5, 5.6 years. And basically I look at, after the marketing and the whole demand generation service of sales and profit. So in this, two things. One is the internal service line, which I help our sales colleagues to, generate more leads. And one is our clients, our customers, who tie up with us. So we give them marketing qualified leads. So, in all this, email plays a very important part for us. And, we have made mistakes. We have also learned from our experiences. And, we just wanted to share our, best practices in email, old emails, so that, you can take advantage of it, and hopefully you can avoid those mistakes which we did. So with that, quickly we can just go ahead with the with the session or with the webinar. And yeah, as Lijo mentioned, feel free to drop your questions in the chat box, and as and when we are progressing, we'll try to answer the questions with you. Yeah. Okay. Bye. Okay. Second. Yeah. Okay, so why we are discussing cold emails? Yeah, so this is the first question, right? That why we all are here, because everyone uses cold email. So see, whoever here is joined or is joining, the reason they are joining is because you might have used cold email, or you would be using cold email in your day-to-day activities, right? That is why you are at the part of the webinar, and you would like more insights about this. But the problem is, like, we are using cold emails. A lot of thousands and lakhs of people in India are also using cold emails. So, this comes with a problem. The problems. So the problem is, first, your prospects are bombarded with emails daily. So this is a common problem, right? If you are, from you guys also, if you are in a certain position, certain level, so you would be receiving a lot of cold emails from other companies. And same is the case of your prospects whom you are reaching out. They would be getting a lot of emails in day-to-day basis. Their inbox would be filled with cold emails, which are important, which might not be important for them. Second is, email service providers are constantly updating their algorithms to block cold email. So see, with every technology comes a disadvantage when it is overused. So in current scenario, emails are overused, and since the pandemic, for sales and marketing people, the one of the main channel which was to reach the prospects was cold email, because cold calling was not possible, a meeting was not possible. So how to connect with the prospect? So that's where a lot of people started using cold email as the medium to connect with the prospect. And that is where the problem arises now. So the email service providers wants to give their customers the best experience. So email service providers like G Suite, Microsoft Outlook, Amazon, all these are email service providers, right? And they don't want their customers to get irritated because of cold email. So they are constantly updating their technology, their algorithm, to block cold emails. This is the second issue. Third, we are sending thousands of cold emails just to get few responses. So you guys would be in this state that, okay, you are sending a lot of hundreds of emails, thousands of emails, and in turn, in return, you would get only few responses, I would say. So these are the challenges, and the same challenges we were also facing, right? We are also not completely immune to all this. We are also facing these challenges. We used to face these challenges, and in the course of time, we learned, right, that okay, how to walk through these challenges and how to build new strategies. So the purpose of this webinar is to discard the old strategies and try adopting some new strategies or a new mindset while doing cold emails. Yeah. So now the second slide. Okay. So I would like to start with something called as sales emails and marketing emails. Okay. So there are two kinds of emails, and I'll give you option 1 and option 2. So this would be a poll which you have to participate. So this option 1, which says informative, focused on you and your company, which means the sender's company and the sender about the sender, right? And the third one is it is one to many, and fourth is focused on selling. This is option 1. Option 2 is value adding, focused on prospects and their company. The prospects you are reaching out and about them and about their company. It is one to one, and it is focused on starting a conversation. So now Lijo will start a poll, and you guys have to tell me which one is a sales email and which one is which option would categorize as a sales email and which option would categorize as a marketing email. So Lijo, request you to start the poll. Please, everyone can participate in it. Okay, I think a lot of fluctuations in the poll. Okay. Yeah, Lijo, we can share it. Share it with everyone.
Okay, so I'll share the results.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So, okay, people are major. Okay, 65% are saying option 1 as sales email and option 2 as marketing email. Okay. And 35% are saying option 1 as marketing email and option 2 as sales emails. Okay. So now let me share the results, share the answer with you. Okay. 1 second. Yes. Okay. So yeah, those who told option 1 is marketing email are right, and option 2 is sales emails are right. So I'll explain you what is the difference between a marketing email and a sales email, and why this is the slide which we are starting with, right? So see, marketing email are basically emails which are in a form of newsletters or some offers which you receive from companies on day-to-day basis. If you have subscribed to some newsletters, then you would receive daily information from them. Sometimes they would run an offer, so you would receive some, for example, a coupon code or a discount offer. These kind of emails are marketing emails. So marketing email are informative. So what I mean by informative is that marketing emails are designed to inform you or update you about the company who's sending that email, right? So for example, as I told, right, if there's a discount running, so they want to inform everyone, their subscribers, right, the subscribers list. So how they do it? They will send a marketing email, a newsletter email. So marketing email in nature are informative, right? They are not meant to sell you, or they are not meant to value add you. I mean, in your day-to-day life, they are not meant to add some value. They are just for information. The second is focused on you and your company. So if you are sending a marketing email, most likely it will be focused on you, that okay, what updates is going in my company, I would like to share this with my subscribers list. So marketing emails are mostly focused on you and your company. The third is it is one to many. Okay. Lijo, there's some audio issue. Okay, people are saying no. I think it's okay. It's good, I think. Okay, great. Okay, it's okay, fine. Okay, so the third one is one to many. So see, marketing emails are, as I told you, right, a newsletter is not sent to each person, one time. It is, it is mostly automated and sent to a lot of people in one go. And it is focused on selling. So what I mean by selling is the end goal of marketing email. The call to action would always be a motive to sell you something. So if they are running a discount and they are sending a marketing email to you, the end goal of that discount is to sell you, right? That okay, I'm giving you discount, so you buy my product. And that is the end goal. That the marketing email is focused on selling. And now option 2. Why option 2 is a sales email? So sales email are mostly value adding. And what I mean by value adding is the sales emails as a salesperson, right? A salesperson is always thinking about their prospect. That, okay, what are the challenges the prospect is facing? What is the current situation or the scenario of the prospect, and how I can help my prospect. So it's basically value adding in their current scenario. So some prospect is facing a challenge, then a salesperson is, cold emailing them about their challenge. That, okay, this is what I feel you are facing, and I can help you. So that is value added, right? In their day-to-day life, it is value adding. So they would benefit something out of it. Second, focused on prospect and their company, as I told you, right? It is more focused on your prospect, that what your prospect is feeling, what your prospect is going through, how you can help them solve their challenges and issues. So that is why it is focused more on the prospect and their company, not on us who are sending the email. And it is one-to-one. So sales emails are not like, you are sending a same email to 1,000 people. Sales emails should be one-to-one, because every cold email or every sales email would be customized to that company whom you are sending, right? So any one of you who are targeting a SME sector and a large scale enterprise, a email should not be same for both, right? It should be different. For SME, these kind of companies, it should be some different email, and for large enterprise, it should be a different email, right? So basically, that is what I mean by one-to-one. That it is not one-to-many. It's not been sent to 1,000 people. It is sent to each of the accounts, or each of the person in that account whom you are targeting. And fourth is very important, right? Which is focused on starting a conversation. So see, as we all know, right, sales is a long process, right? We have to build credibility. We have to build relationship. uh, we cannot send an email and directly try a prospect to buy something from us. That is not possible. They are not in that mindset to buy from you. Instead, a focus of sales email should always be that, okay, how I can start a conversation, a relationship with that customer, right? Then going forward, based on your conversation with the prospect, the selling will eventually take place. But it will be a long process. So that is why sales emails should always start a conversation, and not ask someone to buy something from you directly in the first email. Because think about it, right? The sales email, cold email is what? A sales email is something which you are sending to someone who doesn't know you, right? He's not your subscriber or something, right? He has to get informed about you first. Then eventually they'll buy from you. So what is the point of this, this slide? So the point is that now we are talking about cold emails, right? So cold emails should always be sales emails or not marketing emails. We have to change the mindset of, that, okay, sales, a cold email should be a marketing email. It should not. It should be sales email, right? It should be value added. It should be one-to-one. It should focus on starting a conversation, right? Okay. Okay. So now, follow up to the previous slide. Now I'm presenting two emails with you. So now you have to, again, this will be a poll, and you have to participate and tell me which email will get a higher response, or is in chance of getting a higher response. So I'm sharing two emails with you. Take your time and read the content. And after a few seconds, Lijo, you can share the poll with all of them.
Sure.
Okay. Lijo, you can share the poll.
Okay.
And everyone just, share your thoughts, right? That which email would you respond, or which is highly likely to get response. Okay. A few more seconds and we'll close the poll. Please, if you want to select your options. Yeah, Lijo, we can share the results.
Okay.
Okay. So, okay. People are saying 33% is saying email 1 and 67% are saying email 2. Okay. So, yeah, I'm happy to share this time. Yeah, 67% are right. Those who told email 2, are correct. That email 2 will be, more, will get a higher response. And why? Now, again, let's, analyze the two emails, right? So the first email, right? So if the first email, I just now I told you, right, that you have to read the two emails. That is why you are reading the email. But in a real scenario, what will happen is the first email, if some prospect will open, so looking at the length of the email, it's highly unlikely that they will read the email further. That is the first thing compared to the second email, right, which is very short but very crisp, right? And the first email is a long, text and bulletin points. Now, second, I told you, right, that marketing email and sales email, what is the difference? So first email is marketing email. And why I'm saying it's marketing email is because it's focused on the company. The company who is sending the email is focused on them. For example, if you see the bulletin points, right, they have included the services in the bulletin points, right, which is more about saying that what we are doing rather than what the customer wants, right? That is why the first email is highly unlikely to get response compared to the second email. Second email, if you see the starting of the email is about them, that okay, I saw this about your company, then we have seen this kind of challenges in your industry, we have helped clients 1 and 2, and the clients will be in that same industry whom you are reaching out to. And then the last line, is it something you'd like to explore, right? So we are asking that, okay, is it something which you would like to explore? And the first email, if you say, it's more about listing out their services, listing out which industry they are working in, IT, technical, medical, education, all of that. Then the second last line, if you see, our client base is 1000, includes multinational, all that. So all that is a marketing, signs of marketing email, where we are talking a lot about our company and not about the clients or the prospect whom we are reaching out, right? So yeah, I mean, 67% are right. And the second option is, highly, likely to get more response. And the first one would get response, but it will be very, very less compared to the second one. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So one more thing. So one important thing, right, which I want to share with you, which you have to completely avoid in a cold email, is avoid your prospects mental spam filter. So what is a mental spam filter? Right? You will think that, okay, spam filters, I know in a Gmail or Outlook there are spam filters, which email which is a spam email is thrown away. What is a mental spam filter? So a mental spam filter is the same thing. So any part of email that will categorize your email as a marketing email in your prospect's mind. So again, we are talking about cold email, right? The prospect doesn't know you. And if you are writing a marketing email to a prospect and you are including certain mistakes, what a marketing email looks like. So it's more likely the email will go in the mental spam filter, and the mental spam filter is basically the prospect will either not see your email, or they will just read your email and not do any actions, or they will directly delete the email. Mental spam filter, basically the prospect knows that, okay, this is a email which is not important for me, or it is not a priority for me, so I should close that email. So that is a mental spam filter, and certain mistakes you make in a cold email will lead to the mental spam filters of your prospect. Yeah, and it will categorize your email as a marketing email, which we don't want, right? We want to write sales emails. So now we can see few mistakes, right? Cold email mistakes that will trigger that mental spam filters. A common mistake, right? Which we have also done, which you would have done in the past or you would be doing now. So we can go one by one. What are that? What are those? Okay, first is getting too creative with your subject line. Okay, so these are typical subject lines which used to work, I would say, and which has worked for us also. But lately it has not been working because I told you in the first slide, right? There's a lot of misuse has been happening in cold emails, right? So people are now left, right, center using this kind of subject lines. So subject lines like increase your reply rate by 50%, your company, then those two signs and the prospects company, solution to automate your LinkedIn outreach, and first them can we connect. So these are the common subject lines which you would have sent or you would have received a email from. So why I'm saying these would not work is because these kind of subject lines are a trigger of mental spam filter. And before opening the email, prospect will know that okay, this is a marketing email which has been sent to more 1,000 people, and it is not important for me. It is not something which will excite them to open the email. Right. Second is making it all about you and your company. The red line, right? It starts with hi, co-founder at name, a secure tiger global fund startup with 1,500 plus startups, including all the client names. And then the second line, right, which says our next gen modern employee healthcare platform. So again, all this are sign of marketing email, right? Which is why the email will not receive any response. And once the prospect will read the first line, they will not find any value because we are starting with ourselves, right? Okay, how great is my company rather than talking about them. So this kind of email is again a mistake, right? That starting with or making the email more about your company, that what my company is and how great is my company. Third one is making the email too hard to read. So now this is something which a lot of people don't follow, or a lot of people will ignore this point, which is the left hand side. If you see, right, the left hand side of the image is the screenshot of an email which is on a desktop or a laptop. Okay, and now that same email is seen on a mobile, right? So this is a screenshot of a mobile screen. So you see the difference, right? On a desktop, if you are seeing an email which is already very long, if you see that same email on a mobile, so it's very long, right? It's a whole bunch of paragraphs, which is more likely will be ignored by the prospect, because statistics show that majority of the cold email, which is like 60%, 70% of your cold email are opened on the mobile first, right? And if the email is opened on a mobile first, and if it's looking like this, right, a big paragraphs, a big chunk of text, so it's more likely that okay, by visually looking at the email, the prospect will categorize it as a spam email in their mind. So that is why what you should do is, if you are drafting an email, send it to yourself and see the email in a mobile. That okay, how is it looking very big on a mobile? Is it a long paragraphs, or can I shorten that email? Because there is a thumb rule, right, that any sentence on a desktop is into 3 on a mobile. So on a desktop, if there is 2, on mobile there will be 6 lines. Or if on a desktop there are 2 lines, on mobile it will be 5 or 6 lines. So this you have to make sure. So ideally on desktop you have to keep it 1 line, 1.5 line. So on mobile it will be around 2.5 or 3 lines, which is okay, which is considerable. But this kind of email will be mostly ignored, because people will see the email and they will not put the efforts to read the email. Okay, now the fourth one, making the email sound too robotic. So now what I mean by robotic, and if you see the red lines, right? So now what happens is, right, that I told you that marketing emails. So marketing emails are usually sent using automated software, right? And an automated software has something called as merge tags. So merge tag is basically that okay, you have a database, and the software will automatically populate their names, their company name in that merge tag, and it will be sent to hundreds of people. So now what happens is that you are removing a database and then using automated software and then sending the emails to thousands of people, right? So now from a prospect's point of view, if you see, right, that, okay, this email is sent to me, that, okay, hi, Murtaza, I saw your assistant manager demand generation at Sales and Profit. So see, by looking at the first line, I know that this is an automated email because the designation is same from my LinkedIn. I mean, it's taken from my LinkedIn. And if it is taken from my LinkedIn, it's most likely that it has been removed from automated tool, database tool at Sales and Profit. At Sales and Profit, again, is taken from my LinkedIn directly. And again, the Sales and Profit, which is my company's name, has been used multiple times below, right? Second last line. So all this, will, again, the prospect will know, right, that, okay, this has been an automated email which has been sent to thousands of people, and this is not something of my interest. So I have to ignore. So that is what I mean by robotic email. That, if you are using a lot of merge tags in your email and populating the fields from the database, so that will most likely be, will be triggered as a mental spam in the prospect's mind. So you have to avoid using a lot of a lot of merge tags, and try writing the email, like the way you speak. So, what I can suggest is try recording yourself on a phone about your what your company do and what it will do for the prospect, and then try to listen the record and then you write it in the email. So it will be more like, okay, as if you're talking to the prospect rather than sounding an email like a automated email. So that is what I mean by sounding the email to robotic, that a lot of merge tags has been used. And focusing on booking a meeting rather than starting a conversation. So now again, see, this is a classic mistake, right? That we are sending an email and then we end the email with a time and a date, that, okay, can we connect on this date and time, and which used to work and which will still work for some people, but the probability will be very low of the response. Why I'm saying the probability will be low is because think from a prospect's point of view, right? That you are reaching out to them for the first time, they don't know you, and they will not commit to a phone call like that, right? In the first email itself, you have to build some credibility before asking for their time for a phone call. And directly asking their time for a phone call is basically asking too much, I would say, in the first email. So rather than focusing on meeting booking, focus on starting a conversation. That write your email and end it with saying something like, okay, is this your priority, or is this something you are facing challenges with, or is this something you'd like to explore further? So what will happen here is they will be more open to response, because, okay, if you send this kind of email, they just have to reply you with a yes or a no, that, okay, yes, this is my priority, or yes, this is something I would like to explore. And if you are sending a cold email with a date and time, it is a lot of work efforts for them, right? They have to go to the calendar, they have to see that, okay, can I give this person this time what he's asking for, and all that. So this is a lot of efforts for them, which they will not take in a first email. So you have to start a conversation with them by asking them a question that, okay, is the email valid to you, first of all? And if it is valid, so then definitely they will reply with a positive, and then you can take the conversation ahead. Then in the third or fourth email or in your conversation further, ask a time. Then they will be more likely to give you a time, not in the first email itself. And others. So these are other small mistakes, I would say, which is too many bold words. So we tend to use a lot of bold words while reflecting our clients, right? That, okay, which kind of companies they have worked with, or which kind of industry we have worked with, or what are our achievements. These kind of texts we tend to bold in our email because we feel that, okay, prospect will first see that in the cold email, in the whole email text, they will see that bold part first. The second is hyperlinks. That in the first email itself, we usually tend to attach a link from our website, a case study, or any service page related to our offerings. That, okay, go to this link and read more about, okay, our case studies, our website, our service, which they will not click. And two things will happen here. One is that the prospect will not click, and hyperlinks are usually seen as a spam by the email service providers as well. So like a email or a Outlook will see external links, external hyperlinks as a spam. There is a red flag for them. And most likely, if you are sending the same email to hundreds of people, eventually your email ID will be marked as spam, right? So you have to avoid using hyperlinks. Third is features and services and bulletin points. So this is again, if you remember the second slide I showed you, two emails we compared, right? So the first email was like a lot of features or a lot of services were in the bulletin points. So this is again a typical marketing email or a typical email which a prospect will receive on day-to-day basis, right? So they will avoid that email. That okay, just for the sake of listing down your features, it will not invite them to reply you, right? We feel right that okay, if we send a lot of information to the prospect, it will be more easier for them to respond to us. But the case is fully opposite, right? If we are sending less information to the prospect, making them curious that okay, what we do, without sharing completely what we do, they will be more curious to reply to you, right? We don't have to completely open our books in the first email saying that okay, this is all what we do, how we do, how many people we have helped, all that. So this is a lot of information for a prospect to take a decision that okay, I don't want to engage with them. Okay, so Anjunath is saying 0.5 and 6 can be used in the follow-up emails. Yes, it can be used in the follow-up emails. You can include, so it depends, right? The follow-up email. So you have to see your metrics, right? That okay, if you are receiving a lot of opens from your prospect, then try including these in the follow-up emails. Try including a case study in the follow-up email saying that okay, I thought that this would be relevant for you. Please have a look and share your views. That kind of email you can share in the follow-up emails. And features, I would again say the features try to avoid using in the features or services in your cold emails until and unless they are asking it for. You don't have to open your books completely. Okay. And a lot of industry jargons again. We want to sound more informative to the prospects. That's why we tend to use a lot of big words or buzzwords, which typically we use in that industry. So in a marketing industry, or in the sales industry, there are typical buzzwords which we use, which we have to avoid, right? We have to make it easy for the prospect to read the email rather than making hard. So it's possible that a prospect will know that word, but it is also possible they would not be aware. It's in your mind that okay, you think that prospect will know the word, the jargons. So you have to avoid that. Try keeping your email very straightforward and very easy to read. It should not be very difficult to read. And the second last is attachments. As I told you, like hyperlinks, you don't have to send attachments in the first email itself. It is not a good practice because no one will look at it. No one has a lot of time to click on the attachment and go through it. No one will give so much of time to you. You have to keep it very short and precise and quick to respond rather than sharing a lot of attachment. And the last one is calendar links. Again, we think, right, that okay, I'm making my prospects' life easier by giving a calendar link, but they will not commit to a call directly on the first email. If they are asking, if you have got a response for them saying that okay, I would like to know more, or please tell me more about it, then in the follow-up email you can add it that okay, feel free to book a time using this link, but not in the first email itself. Okay. So any questions, feel free, right? Feel free to drop any questions in the chat. I'll try to answer as many questions as possible. So in the course of time. Okay, so someone is saying, is it okay to include calendar links in the signature field? Okay, so Prashant, I'll come to that. It is a good question, and this also people think, right, that okay, can we add it in this thing? And yeah, you will get the PPT. Someone is asking, yes. So we'll share the whole presentation with you, so you can go through it afterwards. And I'll come back to the calendar link question. That okay, can we link the calendar link in the signature? Prashant is asking. So let me go forward and address that doubt. Okay. Yeah. So how to draft a perfect? So now all this we have discussed, right? That okay, these are the mistakes. So now what to do actually? How to go ahead and draft a cold email? So what I would like to do is I would like to take a bottom to top approach. So what do we mean with bottom and top approach? So bottom to top is basically start with the bottom, start with your signature, then go with the email body. Email body is the text which you will write, and then go with the subject line. Okay, so this is bottom to this is what I would like to use because this is easy to use, and because the first one is the signature. Signature is something which will be same for you in every email. So create that first, then create an email body. And once you have the email body, it will be more easy for you to create a subject line from that body. So we'll see one by one that, okay, how to, apply best practices in all these three: signature, email body, and the subject line. So yeah, the signature. so signature, these are the 4 points which I would like to share it with you. And this is a sample which I use and which internally at Sales and Profit we use. And I'll tell you the reason one by one that why we use these kind of signatures. The first is keep it simple. It's self-explanatory that we have to keep it simple. Don't add a lot of photos or social links and all that. Then second is no images, logos, your photos or your social icon. The third is 0 to 1 hyperlink. And the fourth is no unsubscribe link. So now, okay, the first one we understood. The second one is no images. So why I say that don't add images is because we are talking about cold email here. And cold email is something which we are sending to someone who doesn't know you, right? And we have to take care of again, I said in the previous slide, that we have to take care of the email service provider. We don't want to come across as a spam. So we have also run, so I ran multiple tests on this. We made these mistakes and few of our email IDs were marked as spam also. And then after introspecting, we came to know that, okay, signature is also one of the culprit. So why no images, right? So what happens is that, point 2 and 3 will result in, yes, Manjunath, completely right, that 2 and 3 will result in spam. So no images is, so basically see what happens is, first thing we have to be clear, right, that cold email should always be text based. It should not be graphical, right? Because cold email is meant to be text based, right? If we are adding a lot of graphical elements, that is a sign of marketing email. It's not a cold email. So, and second thing what happens is that if you add more images, that will increase the weight of your email, or I would say the size of your email. Okay. So the more the size of your cold email is, the higher the chances of marking that email as a spam by the email service provider. So if you are just writing text, that is okay. That is not very heavy email. But if you start adding images, logos, all that stuff, so it will start increasing the weight of your email. The weight in terms of the KBs or MBs, right? That okay, once the email without this will be X number of KB, and once you add an image, it will be X number of MB, right? So it will increase by size. So the third one is 0 to 1 hyperlink. So as I told you in previous previous slides, that any external link from your cold email is, and if you are sending the same email to 50 or 100 people, and if that email is an external link, it is more likely to be marked as spam. See, this used to work before, right? We used to use an image, a logo, a website link. I would say about 2-3 years back, it used to work. But now, the algorithms or the spam filters are getting more, smart, and they are getting more strict, right? So they want to eliminate all the signs of, of a spam email. And the third one is also a sign of spam email, that any external link in your signature is a part of a spam filter, right? So you have to, if you want to add one, just add your website link and the question, right, which I got about the calendar link. So no, you should not add calendar link in the cold email. So you have to keep two different signatures then, right? One is your normal routine signature, which will have all the graphics, which you would like to add a subject line, image, you would like to add a social icon, or you would like to add a website link, all that you can add. That is a normal regular signature. But now cold email, right? Cold email, you have to keep a separate signature, which will exclude all these points to make sure that your email ID is safe. It is not marked as spam. So you should not avoid you should not add a calendar link. You should not add any external links. And the fourth point is also same like third point. And an unsubscribe link is also a external link. And usually you see an unsubscribe link as in a marketing email, not a sales email. Like a marketing email, you usually have unsubscribe. Okay, you want to unsubscribe from this newsletter, so click on unsubscribe, but not in a sales email. So these are the 4 advices I would like to give you. Then email body. So this is the important one, most important one, which you have to keep some points in mind while you draft the email body. First is who you are writing, or who are your prospects. A defined ICP, which is ideal customer profile. So example of ideal customer profile: head of VP of sales from SaaS companies, and the company size can be 500 to 10,000 employees in Mumbai and Bangalore. The second is CIOs, VP of IT from cyber security companies, having a revenue greater than 100 million in California and Washington. So this is just an example I'm giving you. But the point is, you have to be very clear that who you are writing the email to, right? You don't have to send the same email to thousands of people. You have to categorize your database to small bits, and and that small bits you have to draft a separate email for every bits of that database. The second is find a reason why you are reaching out to them. The reason should be related to your offerings. So the reason can be, are they hiring currently? Did they receive a funding? Are they expanding in new location? Are they expanding a specific department, for example, a sales department or marketing department? And there can be a lot of reasons to reach out, right? Is their web, if you are selling a digital marketing services, so is their website very outdated? So you have to reach out to them saying, okay, I saw your website is outdated, that's why I'm reaching out to you. If you are selling a chatbot, for example, so you have to look into their website and find a reason why you are reaching out to them. So you have to see companies who don't use a chatbot and then reach out to them. So that is what I mean by why, and the reason should be related to your offerings. So you don't have to randomly type a why reason that, okay, I saw that you are promoted and now here is my offering, which doesn't make sense, right? If you are saying something, okay, I saw you are promoted in XYZ company, then here is why I'm selling you a chatbot service. So how does it make sense, right? You have to tie the offering, tie your reason with your offerings. That is more important. So that will make sense, to the while reading the prospect will make sense out of it. That okay, now I understand why this person is reaching out to me. The point 3, what you can do to solve that problem. This I don't have to stress much on. This is very important in a sales email, that you have to be absolutely clear that what you can do, what you are bringing to the table for the prospect, and what things you can do to improve their lives, their day-to-day situation. So now the framework. So this is what I am using currently. We are using currently, and this is what is working for us. We are getting good number of meetings, good number of leads by following this framework. And this is something which you will not get in one go. So after the webinar, I shared this presentation and with you, and I would like you to go through this 1 or 2 times and then start drafting an email. So I'll just share the framework with you. And the framework is tied back to this slide, what I just shared with you, right? So if you have answers to this slide, you will be able to fill this framework, right? So focus on both, right? The first one is the framework, and the second one is the breakdown of the framework. So the first one, we start with hi first name. Then we say research or the trigger statement. So the research or the trigger statement is basically the why you are reaching out, the why part. We saw in the previous slide that why you are reaching out. So that is our research, right? We are doing some research of the prospect, and then we are reaching out to them. So that is the why part. Then we are moving ahead with an insight or a question based on your research. So if you have done some research and you want to ask some question to them, so you can ask in the second option. The third one is the problem statement that tie back to the research, right? As I told you, right? You don't have to randomly put the problem in which is not making sense. You have to research something and then say that, okay, this is the problem which I think you are facing. So the problem should be tied back to the research. Then the fourth one, which is what you can do to solve the problem. This is again self-explanatory, what you do to solve the problem. And the last is the outcome, which is also important for the prospect, right? That, okay, This is what the problem is. Now what I can do for you and what will be the outcome. And the last one is CTA, to a call to action, to ask a interest. So as I told you, right, cold emails are about starting conversations. So by using a call to action, which is to ask their interest, that okay, this is my cold email. Is this a priority for you currently? Are you facing this challenge currently? So basically, we are inviting them for a conversation rather than asking for a time straight away. Now we'll see the framework breakdown, right? That okay, how it will sound like to a prospect in a real world scenario. So it will be like that. Okay, hi friend, I saw this about you. Based on what I saw, here is an insight or a question. So for example, if you are I don't know, a marketing agency or a chatbot, for example, let's take an example of a chatbot. So we say that, okay, notice that your website's bounce rate is increased by X percentage. So that is my research. Then will be my insight that, okay, because your bounce rate is increased, I believe this is because you don't have a chatbot on your website, right? So now, this is a logical flow. We are writing that, okay, my research is that you don't have a chatbot. And my insight is, which is the second part, that because you don't have a chatbot, that's why your bounce rate is increased. Then we can go with the problem statement, right? The problem statement can be two types. So now again, focus on the breakdown of the framework, right? The second line, which is customer A and customer B were facing this similar problem. So if you have a client similar to the prospect you're reaching out, you have to mention that okay, we saw the similar scenario in this client and this client. They were facing the similar issue. Or now why I've kept or is because if you are in a scenario where you don't have a client, right? You are starting a new product or a service and you don't have a client. So then you have to talk hypothetically that, okay, we have seen this problem across these type of companies. So for example, for a chatbot, if you are reaching out to a SaaS company, right? So we have to then mention that, okay, because they don't have a chatbot, we have seen decrease in their engagement rate in these kind of companies, right? So in SaaS companies, because you don't have a chatbot, that is why you are facing this decrease in the engagement. So so if you are having a client, very good, include them in the second line. If you don't have, talk hypothetically from a company's point of view, that overall as an industry, what trend we are seeing. The second last line, we with X and they saw Y outcome. So again, if you have a customer, you have to write in this language that, okay, we solved you have mentioned, right? In the second line, you mentioned that A and B had a similar problem. So now we are telling that, okay, we solved this with our solution, which is X, and they saw Y outcome, which is the outcome they will get. Or again, if you don't have a client, you have to again speak hypothetically that we can solve you with X, which will help you achieve Y outcome. Okay, and then the last one is the CTA, which is to ask interest of the prospect. That okay, are you open to checking out, right? So this is little difficult. We face a lot of challenges in following this, but once you see the framework by yourself and you put your product and service in this framework and try to fill in the blanks, then I think it will be easy for you to understand. So anyways, we are sharing this PPT with you so you can have a look at this. Yeah, awesome. Great. Thank you so much, Sharma. Yeah, the recording is there. The PPT also you'll get. Okay, so you'll get the recording as well. I think we forgot to mention that you get the recording and the PPT both. Yeah, so this is the framework, and now we are done with the email body. Now the subject line. The subject line is very easy, right? We tend to overcomplicate subject line. So subject line is basically, first is don't use verbs or action words. So verbs or action word is basically, increase your response rate. So increase your response rate is a action, right? A verb or a action, increase your response rate. Or if you achieve X number of, whatever, what you're offering. Increase your website traffic by X. So why I'm saying this, this doesn't work is because these kind of subject lines are a sign of marketing email, right? So if you are sending a marketing email, you try to include metrics, or you try to include action words in that. You typically, if you get a newsletter from some company, you will see these kind of subject lines, but not in sales email. The second one is maximum 2 or 3 words. We don't want to use a lot of words, or we don't want to make the subject line very long, because the reason again is there's something called as preview text if you open your email account, right, or your Gmail, your Outlook. After the subject line, you see a preview text. That okay, this is the start of the email, which will be usually hi first name and XYZ. So if you use a very long subject line, the preview text is hidden. And the preview text is, if you go back to the framework, right, which I just shared with you, your preview text will usually be your research or the triggered statement, which is the most important thing to, for your prospect to open your email. If you're sending an email to a prospect and they see a preview text about them, that okay, if you are saying the prospect, okay, I saw this about you, so then it's more likely the prospect will be interested in opening the email. And that will happen if your subject line is very short. If your subject line is long, the preview text will be hidden, right? I hope it makes sense. And the third one is make it boring. And the third and fourth is basically a same point, or you can it's attached to one another. That make it boring and use words from the email body. So if you are providing a sales CRM, right, and your email is about sales CRM, that okay, how sales CRM helps you. So make your subject line sales CRM. Make it boring. I mean, don't try to oversell, saying that okay, improve your productivity by X% using this sales CRM. Take 2 words from your email body and then include it in the subject line. Make it boring. If you are a hiring agency, right, and you are selling, for example, sales hiring. So you're talking about sales hiring in your content. Okay, how we help companies hire sales people. So just make your subject line sales hiring. Just use 2 words, sales hiring, and then you would see 2 things. First, the number of opens will increase, and we have been able to achieve open rates of around 65 to 75, sometimes 80% as well, using this method. And the industry standard is 25 to 30%. Right, usually in industry, people get 25 to 30%, and using this method, which I'm sharing with you, you would get minimum of 60%, 65%, 70% open rate. And few examples I would like to share of subject lines. So first is sales hiring, as I told you, that okay, if you are selling a sales hiring, just write sales hiring. If you are selling a messaging solution, just write cloud messaging. If you are, if you are selling a CRM, which will help customers forecast their pipeline, just write sales pipeline forecast. If you are selling ICO service, if you are a marketing agency, and you are reaching out to companies who doesn't have a well optimized website, just write SEO issue. If you are a warehouse automation, right, you are selling a product which is used in warehouse, so just write warehouse automation. Simple as that. Don't have to complicate it. It's very easy to do. That's why I told you that first write the email body and then pick up 2 words from the email body and then use it in the subject line. It is very easy to do. Yeah. Okay. And I think we are more or less to the end of the of this webinar. So the summary, I would like to share it with you. Okay. So Mahavir is saying that, but these subject lines may not create hooks, right? So Mahavir, see, hooks are usually a marketing term, right? We use it in a marketing scenario. You are right that okay, this subject line will not create hooks, but this subject line will create curiosity. That okay, they sometimes prospect will like to open that. Okay, I want to know, because they are not clear that what the subject line is about. They will open the email to check what the content is about, right? So usually that's why I'm saying that do not overcomplicate. You don't want to give it away everything in the subject line. If you are give it away that okay, this automation tool helps you do this, so then what is the point, right? Some people might not open the email also. They will get everything in the subject line, all the information in the subject line, right? So the reason we are using this kind of subject line is, first, it is not deceiving also, right? We are not making fool of the customer that okay, we are using some subject line just to make them open. We are not doing that. We are using the subject line we are talking that thing about that keywords what we are using in the subject line. We are talking that about in the content, but the reason for using this short subject line is that to just make them curious, that don't give them full information so that they can open the email. Yeah, I hope it makes sense. Okay, so now yeah, the summary. First is definitely write sales emails, not marketing emails. Second is use 2 or 3 words in the subject line. Third is email should be optimized for mobile. As I told you, you have to send yourself the email and see that how good it is looking in the mobile. Fourth is know who you are reaching out, why you are reaching out, and what you can do for them. Fifth is follow the framework I showed you, reason for reaching out, then the insight from the reason, the problem statement, how you can solve, the outcome, and the CTA for interest, the call to action for interest. And last is simple email signature. Do not overcomplicate email signature. Do not use a lot of links, images in the email signature, because that will tend to mark your email as spam in the long run, right? Okay. So now I'll not go through the email examples. We are sharing this thing with you, the slides with you. So what I've done is I've included 6 email examples with you, following that framework, following the subject lines, which I just all the thing whatever I told in this email, in this webinar about emails is included in this sample emails. So there are 3 slides which I'll not go through. You'll get it in the in the PPT after the webinar. So you can just take your time and go through these examples. Okay. And yeah, so we are at the end. So few things I would like to say. First is that if you are facing any issues in drafting an email and you would like to have a second opinion, feel free to reach me out. This is my credential, which you will get in the PPT also afterwards. If you want me to evaluate your email, you can reach me out on email, on LinkedIn. We can have a quick call as well. Any questions, any doubts related to email marketing, email campaign, email strategy, I'm open for a conversation, right? So this one you will get after the webinar. Okay. So yeah, this is the end. And now, Lijo, I'll request everyone to participate. So we'll run a short feedback of the webinar. So Lijo will, just start that poll and you can share your thoughts. Lijo, over to you.
Hey, hi, Murtaza. Thank you. Thank you for such a beautiful session. I believe we all learned something new today. So I'm sharing the feedback poll. I would request all your participation because it encourages us to do more for the community. So the poll is live now. I would request all your feedback